There are a lot of things wrong with Sex in the City, but the opening isn't one, okay?
Oh, okay.
Hello, my name is Sydney, and today we'll be talking about Sex in the City. Now, if you saw the intro, which you saw the intro to get to me, you will know that this is something different. This is going to be a cinematic project, okay? I'm not playing. Sex and the City is an American television series originally aired on HBO from 1998 to 2004. It's based on Candace Bushnell's book and column of the same name. It follows the life of Carrie Bradshaw and her three friends, Miranda Hobbs, Samantha Jones, and Charlotte York. The four women go through their ups and downs of being single middle-aged women in New York City. In this video, I will be covering all 6 seasons of Sex and the City. Okay, so I just wanted to give a disclaimer that I will not be covering every single episode and every single plot point that happens, because I want to focus more on like the plot and how their relationships develop. Like I'm mostly focusing on the main characters' relationships with each other. So if I don't cover your favorite episode, I'm sorry. It's not my favorite, so I'm not going to cover it. Back to the video. But I will not be covering the 2 movies and the 2 spinoffs. Those can be 2 other separate videos because they're so long, there's so much going on. And in the movies all together are like over 4 hours long. So now let's get into introducing the characters. Carrie Bradshaw, who is played by Sarah Jessica Parker, begins the series at 31 years old and is a sex columnist for the New York Star. She has various love interests over the season, the main ones being John James Preston, who I and the rest of the cast will be referring to as Mr. Big, Aidan Shaw, Jack Berger, and Alexander Petrovsky. We will see my personal favorites as the video continues, but here's a big spoiler. I hate Mr. Big. Miranda Hobbs, played by Cynthia Nixon, is a 31-year-old corporate lawyer, and she's the uptight friend who usually like chews men up and spits them out because she can't stand the nonsense. Her major relationships include Skipper Johnson, Robert Leeds, and Steve Brady. Charlotte York, who is played by Kristen Davis, is also 31 and an art dealer with the dreams of being a loving wife and mother. She's really the sweetheart friend, the eternal optimist. They even call her that in the show, and she can't help but make the best out of bad situations. Her serious relationships were with Trey McDougal and Henry Goldenblatt. Samantha Jones, who is portrayed by Kim Cattrall, also known as Mother, is older than the other women and is approximately 40 years old at the beginning of the series. She works in public relations and is known as the promiscuous friend and describes herself as a trisexual, which means she'll try anything. Her major relationships are with James Goodwin, Maria, Richard Wright, and Smith Jerrod, who is my king. I don't play about Smith, okay? There are 2 characters that I failed to mention. The first one being Stanford Blatch, who is Carrie's friend. He is first introduced in season 1, and he's in the series like the entire time. I just forgot to mention him because he doesn't really have like important plot lines like to the main story. Like he's a very much a side story character, like a side story character. And he has relationships, he has things going on for him. And Stanford is cool. I have nothing against him. Sometimes he is a nuisance. Like whenever he comes on screen, I'm like, okay, here's Stanford again saying something. Yeah, but he like sometimes he makes me laugh, sometimes he doesn't. It's really hit or miss, but he always makes Carrie laugh. He always makes Carrie feel better, which is great. Second character is Anthony, and he is Charlotte's friend, and he is introduced when Charlotte and Trey first get married. He is her wedding planner. He is also a gay man. Charlotte sets up Anthony and Stanford on a date. Anthony totally rejected Stanford. Like, it was really bad. And Stanford started to hate Anthony because he was like, oh, he's a total diva. Yeah, they have this, like, rivalry going on, and they just can't be around each other because they just hate each other. I'm going to elaborate more on their relationship if I ever make a video about the movies. The great thing about Sex and the City is that there is something for everybody. These characters are so fleshed out, and you can see the growth through the season, and especially when the tone changes in the show. Although the last 2 seasons are my least favorite, it is still a wild ride, and I'm ready to take y'all on it. So let's get into season 1. Episode 1 introduced us to all of the characters, including my arch nemesis, Mr. Big.
Nothing and no one could get in my way. Number 1,
there you go.
He's very handsome. Number 2, he's not wearing a wedding ring. Number 3, he knows I carry a personal supply of ultra-textured Trojans with a reservoir tip.
And it doesn't really set the tone for the show. It sets the tone for like 2 seasons and then it changes. But it's really fun. Like, as soon as I saw the pilot, I was hooked. I couldn't stop watching. Shows can't do that nowadays. You know, it takes 3-4 episodes to really get into a show. Are you serious? Miranda and Carrie's friend Skipper Johnson, who is much younger, he's like 26, I believe, start going out, and Miranda is dogging him out through the entire season. And you'll see it, like, she's very unavailable to him while he is just in love with her. Like, as soon as she kissed him, he was just like, I need her in my life forever and ever. Episode 3 introduced us to a potentially lesbian Miranda. She goes out on a blind date and it turns out to be a woman, because one of her coworkers set her up and they thought she was a lesbian because she never brings anybody to any corporate events. Halfway through the season, in episode 6, Big and Carrie finally go on an official date, which kind of grinds my gears, because throughout the season they have been like meeting up just like every now and then. Like, they'll go to a coffee shop, they'll go to a bar, or they'll just see each other and then spend the day together. Like, don't make me mad. Before that happens, before they go on their official date, Carrie takes some promotional pictures that appear on the side of the bus, and she's wearing like a sexy dress. It's like nude, and she wears it to the date with Big, and they get it on, okay? And so because she wears that dress, she feels like she blamed herself, like she sent the wrong message because she didn't want to do anything with him on the first date. And at this point in the season, almost everything with Carrie is big, big, big. Like, everything is just big, 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 and it's very annoying. In the next episode, she finds out that Big is still dating other women, even though they just went on their first date like 2 seconds ago. And it really makes her mad. Like, it grinds her gears. And of course, Carrie does not express that right away. She just ends up being weird to Big the entire episode. And he doesn't know, because it's just like, girl, what are you talking about? We just went on a date. Like, girl. And then in episode 8, Carrie finds out that Big has been divorced twice and has no intention of being remarried. So she's like, I can't fathom not being married ever, because she's never been married ever. And Big's like, I can't fathom being married again. So he's not dealing with it. Instead of leaving Big right then and there, she's like, I can work past it. I love him. Don't make me mad. In episode 10, Carrie starts sleeping over at Big's house more frequently, and she farts in the bed. Girl, y'all are like pushing 40. Come on. But it's really fun seeing how older women are still embarrassed by the same things that like a teenager would be embarrassed about, because she just likes him that much. It's like a big crush. And then after Fartgate happens, Big starts having sex with Carrie like every night. So she starts to think that he's like grossed out with her. This man is almost 50 years old. He is just tired. He's not almost 50 years old. He's like 45 at the most. But still, he is tired. It don't get up like it used to, okay? In the final episode of the season, episode 12, Samantha meets James Goodwin and refrains from having sex with him for the first few weeks because she actually likes him. So she takes Charlotte's advice, because Charlotte's all like a prude. Not a prude, but she's very judgmental, and she believes that you should not have sex with a man on the first date, even though she does it multiple times through the series, but I'm not going to clock that to you just yet. But then Samantha finally has sex with James, and she doesn't feel it. She's like, what? She's like dying. But surprisingly, she stays with him, because she's trying to realize not everything is sex, because they have such good chemistry, and he's so good to her, and she's just like, in Carrie and Big land, Carrie finds out that Big goes to church with his mother every Sunday, and this is where that viral TikTok sound goes. Insecure about their relationship, because she didn't know that Big went to church, and she wants to meet his mother because they've been dating for like a few months by now, and he just doesn't feel any desire to introduce her, because this is like, I'll introduce you in time. Like, you can't rush somebody introducing their parents to you. Like, that's really weird. So Carrie's sitting up at the top of the church, and she drops a Bible, and the Bible falls down. And it's really loud because it's heavy. It's a Bible. And everybody looks up at her, and then Big sees her, and the church is like, come on, man.
Let us pray. We come together this day.
We're out of here.
To receive your blessing. And that of our Lord and Savior.
Like, we just had this conversation. So she comes down and meets his mother, and Big introduced her as a friend. So she's like,
aren't you the young lady who made all that noise?
Slippery gloves. Morning.
Good morning.
It's a lovely church.
Yes, isn't it?
Don't you think it's lovely?
Mother, this is my friend Carrie.
I'm not a friend. You be with you with me. Like, what? And so she feels a certain type of way, and she feels like Big is not taking it seriously, and they were planning this holiday trip, and she's like, I'm not going on a holiday trip. We're over. Because you're not trying to take this serious. You're not trying to commit. You're not trying to introduce me to your mother. I don't care. We're breaking up. And that's the end of season 1. I thought that would be the end of Big. I should have known better. Because season 2 comes around, and Carrie is trying to get over Big. And she's trying to have a girls' day out. And she meets this baseball player, and he's the new Yankee. And she flirts with him. She drunk. She turned up. And she flirts with him. And she tries to push Big out of her head. But it doesn't work. Samantha is still with James, but she is sexually frustrated. And the two go to couples therapy. But in the next episode, they break up. In episode 4, Carrie shoots the New York Magazine cover where she looks a mess.
I stopped for fresh supplies when... there I was, hanging right next to Martha Stewart living, Carrie Bradshaw dying of embarrassment.
In episode 5, Miranda buys her own apartment, and then everything went back to the gutter. Carrie and Big are back together again.
The truth was, I had another engagement. But I didn't dare tell any of my friends where I was going, or who I was planning to meet.
Wow. You look sensational.
Don't make me mad. Okay, can we talk about Miranda for a second? I know all we talked about this season with her is apartment, but she has the worst luck with guys. Like, I mean, terrible, terrible, terrible. And Charlotte has even worse luck with guys if we're actually clocking teeth. And episode 7 does not make either of them feel better. Miranda accidentally sets up a guy that she's interested in with her interior decorator. And they get married like in 2 weeks. And then Charlotte goes to a wedding and she feels like she has found the love of her life. And then his dad gropes her and he calls her a floozy. And then in the next episode, Miranda's luck went up because she meets the best man who has ever been, Steve Brady.
Nah, it's on me.
And why would that be?
A bribe? So you'll hang out and talk. If you leave, I'll have listened to those NYU kids with the Amsdale Lights discuss Fiona Apple. I'm begging you.
Steve Brady is a dirt broke bartender that is head over heels for Miranda. And in the next couple episodes, we see how their schedules clash, how they have social issues, money issues. And there's an incident where Miranda wants Steve to come to one of her law firm events and he doesn't have a suit to wear, and so she takes him to go suit shopping and she wants to pay for the suit. He won't let her pay for it, but like it's like almost like $1,000 suit, I think. But Steve and Miranda end up breaking up mid-season. It's just this whole thing, but don't worry, they won't be gone for long. When Steve and Miranda met, Miranda was waiting for Carrie at a bar that Steve was working at, and Carrie had stood Miranda up to go on a date with Big because he was making veal or whatever. Yeah, that just shows Carrie being a bad friend. This is not one of the first times Carrie ditches one of her friends for Big. In episode 11, we're introduced to Samantha's inability to let go of Hurt. Her ex, Dominic, is the only man that Samantha has ever loved, and he left her to go get married to some random girl. When she runs into him, she figures out this plan to get back at him. It doesn't work. He ends up leaving her again because she falls back in love with him. She's just like me for real. In episode 12, Carrie finds out that Big is moving to Paris for like an undescribed amount of time. And he just treats it like it's no big...
What is all this?
It's an apology for being the bitch. Now, I've been thinking about this. We can make this work. We can, we'll do le phone sex. And if things get really bad, then I'll move to Paris for a while and write Le Sex in the City.
That would be great.
Which one?
I don't care. But you'd be moving to Paris for yourself, right? I mean, don't move for me.
Well, why would I move to Paris if it wasn't for you?
No, I'm just saying, I don't want you to uproot your life and expect anything.
I am such an idiot!
What the fuck?
Don't make me mad. And Carrie still feels like she's an afterthought in her and Big's relationship. And she feels as if they're like a sadist masochist dynamic. And being in a relationship with Big is like masochism. Is that the word? It's gonna be the word today. And she finally breaks up with him. But she spends the next episode obsessing over it. Like, it's really bad. In the next episode, Samantha's neighbors are getting in. I mean, bow, 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 bow. And she decides to show off. And she gets invited to join them. But when that door opens, she's like, oh. And in this same episode, Carrie tries to create a relationship with like a casual hookup. And it just does not go well. Episode 15 may be Charlotte's most annoying moment, and that's saying a lot because it's Charlotte, and her brother visits her after getting divorced, and Samantha trying to give him some of that good love, and that after divorce, bow, bow, bow. And Charlotte's like, no! He just got divorced! Leave him alone! They may get back together! Bro, he just needs some fat poo nanny, fat poo nanny. While all this is happening, Miranda is dating her father and learns the challenges of dating with children. Samantha gets an offer to have a threesome with 2 gay friends, and when it happens, it don't work. Episode 17 is like 3 nukes got dropped in the Hamptons. Samantha had recently fired her sassy 20-something-year-old assistant, and she stole Samantha's Kylis and threw the biggest party in the Hamptons. At this party, Carrie runs into Big and a mysterious 20-something-year-old model named Natasha. Right. The final episode of the season is filled with drama and creates the perfect setup for the next season. It begins with Miranda and Carrie running into Steve and running away. Literally running away.
Calmly, while others... Fuck! Steve!
Go! Cozy! Vanilla! Stupid! Come back here!
And Carrie starts to show promise after coming to terms with Big's new relationship and tries to become friends with him. While they are talking, Big tells Carrie that him and Natasha are engaged. Engaged. The same man that said he was never getting remarried got engaged within 5 months of dating some 20-year-old model in Paris. Don't make me mad. Don't make me mad. This is why we don't like Big. Because he's weird. Because he's weird to Carrie and he's weird to everybody around him. He's weird.
We're engaged. I wanted you to hear it from me.
Ow. I just got a splitting headache.
Well, I didn't know how to tell you. And when you called for lunch...
Engaged? How can you be engaged? You have a problem with commitment, remember? In fact, you told me you never wanted to get married again, ever.
Well, things change.
Sidebar, Carrie looks beautiful in this lunch with Big. Like, she actually looks stunning. Like, that's mother. And then Steve pops up at Miranda's house and gives her a piece of his mind. But this scene shows how much they are meant to be together. Because Miranda starts crying. Because she's like, that's just a terrible thing to do. I know it was such a bad thing. You would never do such a bad thing. And then Steve's like, I'm doing a bad thing right now, just showing up to your house and telling you off. And then they just start hugging and then they're back together. And it's just like, you can tell they're so in love. But they want to be dumb and try to be friends. But that doesn't last long because they sleep together in the same episode. I also think Steve's voice is so amazing. Like, it just crackles inside of my ear. Like, and it fits his face so well. Like, why can't everybody be from Boston? Also, Skipper doesn't appear anymore after Steve is introduced, which is kind of sad because the writers wanted to go in a different direction. Instead of focusing on Carrie's friends, they wanted to focus on the 4 women's lives, which makes sense, and you could tell in that shift from season 3 to season 4. So yeah, that's why Skipper doesn't appear anymore, and I was really sad. Now moving on to season 3. Season 3 begins with the girls going to Staten Island to judge firefighters at a calendar benefit. Carrie meets a politician named Bill Kelly. Samantha sets sight on a fireman named Ricky, and she does what Samantha does. And Charlotte also meets an investment banker that is a definition of cute. But he's sorta, kinda, just a itsy teensy bit violent. I applaud Charlotte, because once she sees a red flag, she runs for the hill. But me? I can't see, I'm blind, blind, blind. But you know who isn't blind anymore? Miranda! She got LASIK eye surgery and was resistant to let Steve help her, but he came to her rescue anyway and stayed the night at her apartment to make sure she was alright. When Miranda wakes up, Steve is laying next to her.
The next morning, after what felt like she'd slept for 100 years, Miranda awoke. And for the first time in her life, saw things clearly.
I just love that scene. The next episode, Steve tells Miranda that he wants to be exclusive, and she is hesitant but agrees by the end of the episode. Also, Carrie and Bill break up after roughly a month of dating because she wasn't good for his campaign. Then P-Gate happens. Bill wanted Carrie to pee on him. After Bill and Carrie break up, she prints it because I'm gonna show you something that's not good for your campaign. Bill Kelly. In episode 3, Carrie runs into Natasha while shopping and feels pressure to go to a Women in Art gala. Whole time Natasha didn't even go. And Miranda's cleaning lady, Magda, is introduced in the episode. She becomes a big part of Miranda's life and acts as a mother figure. In episode 4, Steve asks Miranda to move in, and of course Miranda's a Miranda and she pushes him away. And also, Charlotte dresses up as a man and she kind of looks like Drake Bell. That's all I had to say about that. In episode 5, Carrie goes on her first date with furniture maker Aiden Shaw, and Samantha goes black. And yes, that means what you think it means. Miranda is mean to Steve yet again after he shares the news that he was chosen to make a half-court shot at the Knicks game for a chance of $1 million. Of course, Miranda immediately tries to manage Steve's expectations, but my king has unwavering optimism, okay? Back to Samantha and her African-American talk. Samantha meets a music executive, Siobhan, and immediately hits it off and actually begins to like him. But his sister is not having it.
I'm sure you're a very nice person, but you're white. And I have a problem with my only brother getting serious with a white woman.
She said, ain't no white about to be in my blood, okay? Back to Aiden and Carrie. At the end of their date, Carrie lights a cigarette and Aiden says that he cannot date a smoker. So Carrie's like, I'll quit. She liked him that much. When Carrie shows up to Aiden's shop later, they have this all-day date, and Carrie is itching for a cigarette. Like she a junkie for real. Carrie tries to leave the date a little early, and she goes outside to have a cigarette right outside the restaurant, by the way. And Aiden catches her. I still can't watch the scene. Every time it comes up, I literally have to walk away because I can't deal with it, because you know that you were going to get caught. And you deserve that. In episode 6, Samantha is shamed out of her apartment building after one of her male visitors let in a robber at 2 a.m. How was she supposed to know the person behind her man was supposed to be robbing people? And then she was forced to move to the meatpacking district. And also, Carrie is worried that Aiden doesn't really like her because he doesn't want to sleep with her after a week and a half of dating. Girl, they too grown for me, okay? In episode 7, Aiden wants Carrie to meet his parents, and Carrie freaks out, of course, and avoids it. And also, Miranda found skid marks in Steve's underwear. In episode 6, my suicidal thoughts come back because Big is back into Carrie's life and is confessing his love with his wedding ring still on his hand. Don't make me mad. But in Charlotte Land, she has finally found her Prince Charming, Trey McDougal. She almost got hit by a car while running away from her married friend's cheating husband.
Wait!
Taxi!
right?
Hey,
Right.
are you all right?
Yeah, I think so.
Miranda and Steve get into a huge argument about Steve's habit and him wanting a baby, and it ends in them breaking up. It was not that serious for Miranda to be doing all that. It really wasn't. She could have just said, I don't want no baby, leave me alone. In episode 9, Big drops the fact that he is leaving his wife. Oh? After resisting Big's advances the entire episode, Carrie finally gives in and sleeps with him. Charlotte proposes to Trey, though, after meeting his mother, Bunny, who is a piece of work. This will not be the last you hear of Bunny. She becomes worse. In episode 10, Carrie is feeling guilty about the affair and is trying to put an end to it, but she doesn't because she bends to Big's every whim. Both Samantha and Miranda find out about the affair, and they are such good friends, especially Samantha, because she was the first one to find out. She did not judge her at all and just offered her ear. In episode 11, Natasha catches Carrie in Big's apartment and chases her down the stairs, resulting in her falling and having to go to the hospital and losing a tooth. That finally puts an end to Big and Carrie's affair, but it also puts an end to Big and Natasha's marriage. In episode 12, Charlotte and Trey get married! And they sleep with each other for the first time. And Trey cannot perform, if you catch my drift. But while Charlotte is solidifying her relationship, Carrie is about to liquidate hers. The guilt from the affair was too much for Carrie to bear, and she wants to come clean to Aiden. So she does it right before Charlotte's wedding. Episode 13 and 14, the ladies take over Los Angeles. And I know Natalie Nunn is mad because they are running LA.
I failed to mention why they were going to LA. Basically, Carrie was about to get kind of like a movie deal for her columns. And she met with Matthew McConaughey, which is so random. And it was this whole thing. But they were really running LA, okay?
How did they end up in the Playboy Mansion and get kicked out in the same day?
Over a fake Fendi purse.
Charlotte stays home, though. In episode 15, Charlotte catches Trey masturbating with Jugs magazine. And you know what she did? She taped her face over every single one of the girls' mother. In episode 16, Charlotte and Samantha get into an argument because of Samantha's cruel language pertaining to sex. Charlotte is fed up with Samantha just swinging her thing around and telling them all about it. So she goes to her sorority sisters. But after meeting with her sorority sisters, Charlotte finally understands why she needs Samantha and all the other girls. So she's not the one that looks crazy and raunchy at the table. In episode 17, after running into Natasha while out eating with the girls, Carrie feels so guilty that she has to go shopping and ends up getting mugged. Samantha keeps receiving the calls of another Sam Jones who is throwing parties. So she brings Carrie to go crash their party and have a talk with Sam Jones. When she finally gets there, she realizes it's in a dorm room and Sam Jones is like 18 years old and a virgin. So you know what Samantha does. She gets it on, okay? Basically, Sam Jones falls in love with Samantha. And he becomes obsessive. He keeps calling her every single day and even shows up to her house, banging on her door, yelling, I love you, Sam Jones! On the way to the other Sam Jones's party, Samantha tells Carrie that Natasha and Big are separated. And Carrie feels even more guilty. She meets with Natasha later in the episode, and Natasha finally breaks her silence. In the final episode of season 3, Carrie sees Big for the first time since the divorce. And Charlotte moves back into her old apartment, and Trey finally gives her some good loving. And this might be the worst moment of the series for Samantha, but she is using transphobic slurs, referring to some hookers outside of her apartment. I didn't even want to watch that episode, but a lot happens in that episode. So if you just skip to season 4, you're going to be like, what happened? But now we're skipping to season 4 because what happened? In season 4, episode 1, nobody shows up to Carrie's birthday dinner that she didn't even want to have. But it makes Carrie realize that she's alone and that she doesn't have a man. Because if she had a man living with her, then she wouldn't have been alone at the dinner party. It would have at least been her and her husband. But she doesn't have one. But then when she's walking home, here come Big, rolling down that window with a bunch of balloons and some champagne. You ate that one little thing. I'll give you that because I did cheer her up. After this happens, the two begin their friendship again. Hopefully they don't sleep with each other this time. While out with Mr. Big, Carrie meets a jazz man. And while the relationship is short-lived, we get to see a jealous Mr. Big who shows that he does not actually just want to be friends. In episode 4, Samantha meets a woman named Maria, and she tries to tell her that she's straight, but Samantha loves Maria's company so much that she agrees to date her and do a relationship thing. In episode 5, Steve opens a bar with Aiden as a silent partner, and both Carrie and Miranda are invited. Carrie's under the impression that Aiden invited her to rekindle their relationship, but in reality, Steve invited Carrie so that Miranda wouldn't feel left out and would come. Maria is tired of dealing with the men from Samantha's past, so they break up. But Samantha really did like Maria, but they both drove each other crazy. She was throwing plates at her. It was crazy. In episode 6, Carrie wants to get back with Aiden. Stay away from him. Back up. Stay away. They get back together. And Charlotte and Trey start trying to have a baby, but they're failing each time. In episode 7, Charlotte quits her job, and Miranda is very judgmental. She's like, you love your job. Why would you quit? And I'm like, her long-term goal was to be a housewife. That was very clear. She did not care enough about art for that. But she loves art. She still loves art. In episode 8, Miranda's mom dies, and Samantha is concerned about losing her orgasm. However, this episode shows how Samantha uses sex as a distraction, and it shows why she doesn't take most of her relationships seriously, because when she gets hurt, it really sticks with her. In episode 9, Carrie and Aiden take a trip to Suffern, New York, and Carrie is miserable. When Carrie goes to meet with her editor, she sneaks off to go see Big. What you being messy for? And Steve has testicular cancer. In episode 10, Aiden and Big get into a physical fight because Carrie invited Big to Suffern. Back in New York, Miranda sleeps with Steve because she feels bad for him having only one testicle. And Samantha is gunning for a PR position with hotel owner Richard Wright.
Read between the lines, Ms. Jones. I deal with a lot of business men.
What are you saying? That businessmen would be more comfortable dealing with a woman if she were working next to a man?
You have a lot to offer. You might want to consider working with a partner who isn't so emotional.
Episode 11, Miranda finds out that she's pregnant, and she's keeping it. There's this whole abortion discussion, and Carrie lies to Aiden about not getting an abortion when she was like 22. Originally, she said that she got an abortion when she was 18, but then she told him the true date because she don't want to lie to him anymore. Because, like, one thing about Carrie, she gonna lie. She lied to Aiden so many times. In episode 12, Aiden proposes to Carrie.
Oh my God, it's not.
Charlotte tries to speak with Trey about adoption, but Bunny is once again doing too much. She's saying that he has to have Trey's blood and this, that, and third. It's like, I am not adopting a Chinese baby. What's wrong with that? And in this episode, Samantha starts sleeping with Richard. In episode 13, Carrie and Aiden have a fight about all the stuff that's in Carrie's apartment now that Aiden moved in. Aiden bought both Carrie's apartment and apartment next to her, and he's gonna knock out the wall and make it one really big apartment. Trey and Charlotte have a fight over a cardboard baby that Trey brought in as a joke. And Samantha finally lets Richard treat her like his girlfriend. In episode 11, Trey and Charlotte separate permanently because she just can't get over him being that insensitive about her fertility issues. Why did I just say fertile issues? I'm losing my mind. And Samantha tells Richard that she loves him while being high on ecstasy. In episode 15, Samantha is losing it because she sees that Richard is seeing other women and now wants monogamy. She has it bad. Kara realizes that she cannot marry Aiden, and Hayden and I, we kind of won. Like, we knew that was never gonna happen. We knew that Carrie Bradshaw did not deserve Aiden. In episode 16, Aiden forces Carrie to buy back her apartment, and Carrie realizes that she is broke and makes poor financial decisions. She has spent over $400,000 on 100 pair of shoes. And then Samantha is trying to get Richard to say, I love you. In episode 17, Carrie starts working for Vogue in order to get extra money to pay for the apartment. And one of her bosses is crazy, and the other one is trying to crack. In episode 18, Big moves to Napa Valley. Good riddance. And Samantha thinks Richard is cheating on her. He is. Okay, now we're at season 5. Season 5 was cut short because Sarah Jessica Parker got pregnant and she agreed to only 8 episodes, which makes sense. And this left the season feeling really incomplete, and the relationship that Carrie gets throughout the season feels like very hollow, and it wasn't like fleshed out, and I don't care about him. He's very annoying. Episode 1, Miranda has her baby, and his name is Brady Hobbs, which is so cute. And Richard will not stop calling Samantha after she broke up with him last season. In episode 2, Carrie gets a book deal, which is amazing. And Samantha takes Richard back, which is not as amazing.
I'd like to add the fact that Samantha agrees to do Carrie's PR for free for her book. Because of this, Carrie shows up to Samantha's office and she walks in on Samantha doing something with the Worldwide Express guy. And so Carrie is a little judgmental, and not a little judgmental, she's very judgmental. Samantha and her get into a huge fight. They get over it because it's Carrie and Samantha.
In episode 3, Richard takes all of the girls to Atlantic City, and Samantha is paranoid about him cheating on her the entire time, while Carrie is trying to get them to like live in the moment and to get like memories with them, and she's trying really hard for them to all get a picture, but they all just keep going off and doing their own thing. But like, I'm like, Carrie, I get it. Sometimes you just need memories. In episode 5, Carrie meets Jack Berger, who is a struggling author and also is the spawn of Satan. She invites him to her book opening party, and Charlotte clashes with Bunny again over the apartment that Trey gave her in the divorce settlement, and she's like, this isn't your apartment, it's my apartment, and she makes this whole thing. But she gets this divorce lawyer. It all works out in the end. Bunny, this is the last we'll see of you. Carrie goes to California to promote her book, and she runs into Big, who is in the crowd of her book signing. And he suddenly becomes aware of all the terrible things he has done to Carrie. And it's just like atoning. Like, he's just like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was that horrible. Like, he's like literally like dying over it. Because he's like, I didn't know I had that much effect on you. And I'm like, do you not know what you've done for the last 5 years? This is irreversible damage on her psyche. Like, I don't think I could do what Carrie did. Like, that's a strong woman. But she's not strong enough because she keep going back. No shade. Also, Charlotte starts sleeping with her divorce lawyer, Henry Goldenblatt. And she tries to keep it like a casual thing, like how Samantha does. But she fails miserably. Like, she just starts falling in love with him. Now, we're at the last season. Isn't that crazy? In the first episode of season 6, Carrie and Jack are going on their first official date. Carrie runs into Aiden and he has a baby? Yeah. This is the last time we see Aiden for the rest of the series, which is kind of sad. But the baby thing gagged me, I can't even lie. Harry won't marry Charlotte because she's not Jewish. And that really devastates Charlotte because she feels like she really loves him and he could be the one. But she felt that way, okay. She feels that way about everybody, but that's okay. Episode 2, Jack cannot put it down on Carrie, okay? They tried 3 times, it's terrible. And they're thinking about breaking up. You know who doesn't break up? Henry and Charlotte, because Charlotte converts to Judaism. Yes. Samantha meets Jerry Jarrett, later known as Smith Jarrett, at I think it's a raw food restaurant. I think that's what it's called. Or like, it's all plants. It is really weird. And nobody actually likes the food there. They just want to sleep with Jerry Jarrett. In episode 3, Samantha gets Jerry fired from his catering job and learns of his true passion, acting. In the next episode, Carrie jokingly criticizes Jack's book, and he gets all of his feelings because he's not successful and he got dropped from his book deal. But Carrie doesn't know that yet. Harry and Charlotte break up after Charlotte cooks the Shabbat meal and Carrie is unattentive. Like, he's all watching the TV and she's just begging him. She's like, can you please just turn the TV off? Can you turn the TV off? And he just won't. And they break up. In episode 5, Jack becomes even more jealous of Carrie when she gets $25,000 from her book sales. And Carrie finally finds out that Jack got dropped from his book deal. Miranda is still in love with Steve, even after all the breakups. But Steve has a new girlfriend named Debbie. And Miranda helps Steve bake some cupcakes for Debbie's birthday. Right. Samantha helps Jerry become a star and promote his play where he's fully naked on stage. I mean, dingling all out swinging. In episode 6, Jack asks Carrie for a break from the relationship, and the ladies from the synagogue are trying to set up Charlotte with their sons, and they have this whole mixer event. And at the mixer event, she sees Henry, and Henry proposes to her.
So guys, I don't know why I keep calling this man Henry. His name is Harry, and I keep going out calling him Harry and Henry, but it's the same guy. It's Harry Goldenblatt. I don't know why I keep calling him Henry. Same name.
Samantha finally changed Jerry's name to Smith and gets him a billboard in Times Square, where he is now known as the absolute hunk. In episode 7, Jack breaks up with Carrie on a post-it note, and Samantha doesn't want to be known as Smith's girlfriend. We'll see about that. In episode 7, Charlotte gets married to Harry and everything goes wrong. In episode 9, we get our second black love interest, with Miranda developing a crush on her new neighbor, Dr. Robert Leeds. Miranda and Robert are getting serious, but she doesn't want to introduce him to Steve. I wonder why. And Charlotte is still struggling to get pregnant with Henry. In episode 11, Carrie meets Alexander Petrovsky. In Miranda Land, Robert says "I love you" to Miranda on a big cookie, and Miranda can't say it back. She eats the whole cookie, but she can't say it back, resulting in the two breaking up and her getting back with Steve. Who else cheered? In episode 13, Samantha goes to a party with Smith that's hosted by Richard and sleeps with Richard right in front of Smith's face and doesn't enjoy it. And Smith welcomes her back with open arms. He way better than me. He really love her. In episode 14, Miranda proposes to Steve while drinking beers. And Samantha goes to a breast augmentation consultation and finds out that she has cancer. In episode 16, Carrie and Alexander have a fight about being inconsiderate of her feelings surrounding Samantha's cancer. Carrie was very wrong in this moment because Alexander had a friend that had cancer and his friend had passed away. And so she was saying, don't just say that your friend died. Stop talking about your friend that had cancer, because my friend has cancer and they're not gonna die. He's trying to relate his experience, even though he's using words like my friend died, your friend may die. And he's trying to be like, your friend may die. You have to be comfortable with that scenario, because he was so surprised by his friend dying. He doesn't want Carrie to go through that same hurt of being surprised. Miranda and Steve buy a house in Brooklyn, and Samantha's hair starts falling out because of the chemotherapy. And you know what Smith did? He shaved his hair in solidarity. Because Samantha shaved her head, she started wearing wigs, and Smith had a big red carpet to attend, and Samantha pulled up in that little Kim wig, okay, and she ate. In episode 17, Alexander does not want to talk about his work with Carrie and misses the opportunity to be introduced to Carrie's friend. And so Carrie feels very shut out of Alexander's life because these things are ramping up with whatever he's doing for work, because we don't really know. We just know he's doing this light installation thing. Samantha leaks a sex tape of her and Smith to disprove rumors about his sexuality. In episode 18, the girls finally meet Alexander and they do not like him at all. And Alexander drops the bomb that he expects Carrie to move with him to Paris. Everybody's like, what are you talking about, Grandpa? But Carrie moves to Paris anyway. The final 2 episodes of the series are 2 parts of Carrie in Paris. She is miserable since Alexander leaves her alone all the time to work on his exhibit, and he meets his daughter and ex-wife separately. And his ex-wife talks about how he didn't want her to have a career, which is exactly what happened to Carrie when she moved away. She couldn't continue her column. And the wife is basically just trying to warn Carrie, like, just be careful. Remember to stay who you are, like. But the wife really liked Carrie, though. She really liked her. And while she was out there, Carrie called Miranda and just tells her, like, I really don't like it out here, but I can't go away. It's only been a week. But in New York, the girls meet with Big, and they agree that Big should go to Paris to go save Carrie. So a lot happens in the last episode, and it tries to wrap up all the loose ends. Big goes and retrieves Carrie after her and Alexander have a big fight. And Carrie tells Alexander how lonely she feels and how she just can't be here with him. And Alexander accidentally hits Carrie upside the head. And Carrie's just like, whoa, he's like, it was an accident. It was an accident. It clearly was an accident, but at the same time, you still hit her. And it's like, while tensions are high, so she runs out. She goes upstairs. She's trying to get a room. And Big shows up to the hotel that she's at coincidentally. And she's like, Big? She's like, Carrie, and this is the whole thing. And they come together. And then Carrie's like, yeah, me and Alexander had a fight. He hit me. And Big runs up the stairs. She's like, like the Incredible Hulk trying to go beat Alexander up, but he falls down because he's still an old man. And she's like, you're gonna give yourself a heart attack. That was a very funny scene. That was really funny. They go back home together, and Steve's mother had a stroke, and Miranda and Steve have to start taking care of her. Charlotte and Harry were approved to adopt a baby named Lily, which was really nice. And Samantha and Smith, they're still together. They're just doing what they do. Okay, guys, so that is the end of this video. That was a long one. The show is full of ups and downs, and the tone changes significantly after, I think, season 3. Like, season 3 is when it becomes more of a drama and more, like, led with a storyline. That's why you saw me include more episodes and more details after season 3. Like, season 1 and 2, it was like a just sporadic, like, they would have storyline, of course, because it's the HBO show. It wasn't episodic, but like those 2 seasons you could just jump into, you'll be fine. But like season 3 through after that, you really have to lock in. And thank you so much for watching the video. If y'all want me to make a video on the movies and on the spinoffs, I will put myself through the torture of watching Carrie Diary and Just Like That for y'all. I will do it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Letterboxd, Bonnet City, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.